So Suella Braverman has set her sights on the most vulnerable people in society, homeless people, because of course the problem in our country is those pesky rough sleepers. The Home Secretary Suella Braverman has described rough sleeping as a lifestyle choice while defending her decision to restrict the use of tents by homeless people on the streets of Britain. According to Whitehall insiders, Braverman plans to crack down on tents that cause a nuisance in urban areas such as high streets amid growing numbers of rough sleepers and what the government considers a rise in antisocial behaviour. I wonder why there is a rise in rough sleepers. The Home Secretary has also proposed the introduction of a civil offence which could lead to charities being fined if they provide homeless people with tents, the Financial Times reported. This is the absolute gutter of politics. No right-minded person wakes up and thinks, oh, we need to crack down on homeless people, unless, well, you're a psychopath like Braverman. Now, this next paragraph is just insane. Writing on X, I hate saying that, formerly Twitter, Braverman defended her proposal saying, the British people are compassionate. I mean, you certainly aren't, the Tories aren't. We will always support those who are genuinely homeless, but we cannot allow our streets to be taken over by rows of tents occupied by people, many of them from abroad, living on the streets as a lifestyle choice. There's so many dog whistles in that. First, she has to invoke the foreigner trope, doesn't she? She's basically trying to make you angry, and that those who come from abroad are just somehow less than human. The second is that being homeless is a lifestyle choice. My God, Suella, you are a disgusting, pathetic excuse for a human being. Yeah, people like to live outside in the pissing rain, being spat and pissed on by drunk people. The truth is, we've had the Tories for nearly 14 years, in which we've seen an explosion in homeless people, despite claiming that they want to end rough sleeping by 2024, which no one believes. These figures show just how far off they are. According to the Office of National Statistics, 3,069 people were estimated to be sleeping rough on any given night last year, an increase of 26% on the previous year, and a 74% increase since 2010. Given the context of COVID too, this makes it even more crazy. We housed people during COVID, and then afterwards, not only did people return to the streets, the number went up. So just a year before, we effectively ended it. Of course, it's not likely that Braverman is going to admit that her government has made the problem worse, but to announce that she wants to take tents away, the only form of shelter some people have, is repugnant. The Tories have nothing. No answers for the mess that we're in, so they resort to their usual method, which is to scapegoat and attack the powerless. No one wants to see rough sleepers, no one wants to see tents, and no one wants to see beggars, but the solution is to house these people. I mean, as I said, we literally did that during COVID, so it's not a lack of solutions, but a lack of political will to make sure that all people have adequate shelter. Now, for the Tories, whose ideology is to rip up the state and turn everything into a commercial clusterfuck through privatisation, you can be certain that they will never end rough sleeping. Instead, they just want them out the way, whether it's the death of them or that they are socially cleansed and pushed into different areas. Now, you may recognise images like these. This is anti-homeless architecture. They're designed to make rough sleepers as uncomfortable as possible so they will leave. Now, there are significant instances in political history, an inflection point, if you will, that can drastically change the landscape for a long time. Rosa Luxemburg once said, it's socialism or barbarism. One of those times was 2019, which was the last general election. We chose barbarism, and I think it's perfectly encapsulated in this video.
The message is going to be, today, rough sleeping homelessness ends. There will be no more homeless people in this country. The state will provide. That was going to be my opening gambit.
You would have said that on the steps of Downing Street. Those would have been your first words.
This is our way of bringing this country together.
And there would have been, you would have sent a dictate out to
all local authorities.
All local,
and fund them to do it. We could do it during COVID. We can do it anytime. I mean, it is an insult to our society that we tolerate the idea that people can sleep rough on our streets.
That was Jeremy Corbyn revealing that his priority was to end homelessness. Now, this has always been a big issue for him because, I don't know, he actually has compassion, unlike the rest of the psychopaths in power. Yet instead, we are left with a Home Secretary trying to criminalise them. This country made a huge mistake, aided by our media and the Labour right. We are in a very dark era of our politics.